A project I have worked on as a data analyst, data scientist in my career was one where I was required to analyze the sales channels of a company for a client to find out if these sales channels were at all profitable. The first thing working on this project was to meet with the client, the stakeholder, to discuss what the project success should look like, define what success should look like. And we both came to the conclusion that success should be um, identifying which channels were profitable, and if there were any channels that were not profitable, um, trying to look into why these channels were not profitable at all, the reasons for lack of profitability. And so after defining what the success of the project should look like, um, I moved forward. I was granted access to the client's data, the database. I used SQL mostly and Tableau for this project. And the first thing I did was to look at the different keys, the primary keys, foreign keys. There was the provision of a data dictionary, so I was able to use that to understand the relationships between the tables in that database a lot more. After that, I proceeded to answer the business question, and I was able to, through the data, identify the sales channels existing within the company. I was also able to through the calculations provided in the data to be able to come up with revenue, an accurate metric for revenue, an accurate metric for profit. I then used these metrics to analyze the sales channels. From my data mining and analysis, there were two sales channels at the company, and so I was able to analyze their profitability based on the metrics provided within the data. I also analyzed profitability and revenue by the different product categories and subcategories within that company. I also looked at profitability and profit and revenue rather um, by the different regions in the company, because the company had presence in a few countries across the world, and so I was looking at the revenue and profitability by regions. And the first thing I discovered was that there was one sales channel that was doing well, um, and then there was another that wasn't doing well at all. And going through the analysis of my data and data mining, what I discovered was that sales channel A had been established much longer than sales channel B. So, for example, sales channel A already was existing in the company for about 5 or 6 years. Sales channel B had just been established a year or two prior to when I was working on the project. So there was a disparity in the amount of revenue or even profit that could be generated from sales channel B. The second thing I discovered was that sales channel A had presence in all the regions or all the countries where that company had a presence. But sales channel B was only present in two regions or two countries where of that company. So sales channel B only had presence in about two regions, but sales channel A had presence in all the regions of the company. And so this was having an effect on the amount of revenue that could be realized through sales channel B. Moving forward, I also decided to analyze um, other aspects of the company, such as the quality of operations. One thing I noticed was that when it came to products within the company, or materials provided by, let's say, vendors or suppliers or manufacturers, materials that will be used to create products for that company, a lot of them, some of these materials or products were being scrapped or returned because the quality was not good enough, or because they were subpar, they were substandard. And so this was having an effect on the number of products that could be pushed out through the sales channels for the organization to provide to the customers to buy. So that was the first issue. The second issue was with regards to the supply management. getting the materials for products or getting products um, delivered on time. So what this means is that certain vendors that provided materials for products or provided products for this company to sell, um, there would be an established order date and there'd be an established due date, for example. But a lot of times, some of these vendors or suppliers were not supplying on time. They were supplying after the agreed period of time had passed. And so this was affecting the average times of my client's company to be able to make these products available to customers or even to produce them. So these were some of the issues encountered. One personal issue I encountered in the project was with regards to my visualization. When making these findings, you have to present these findings in your advanced business reports, dashboards to the clients, and I used Tableau for this particular challenge. Now, the issue I had was that after linking my Tableau to the client's database, SQL database, um, I would do my calculations against the database on Tableau or in Tableau because I'd linked the two, and I discovered that some of my calculations were inaccurate. So for example, let's say revenue, when I was calculating it and when I discovered it or discovered profit on my client's database or server, revenue would be, let's say, $5 established, $5. The total revenue for, let's say, the company was $5. But then I'd go to my Tableau and want to do my visualizations and my charts, and then I discovered that revenue would be reflecting within Tableau as, let's say, $20. So there was a disparity in what um, the data was showing me and what Tableau was showing me. And so I decided to use a different approach to solve this problem because I had tried to refresh the connections and nothing seemed to change. Within Tableau Desktop, because that was what I was using, Tableau Desktop, there's a provision to import your SQL query. Now what this means is that apart from the traditional standard of connecting your database to your Tableau and then creating your visualizations within Tableau against the server or the database, what you can do is type out your SQL code in your SQL IDE, your SQL database environment, type it out, run your code. But when you're done, you can lift that SQL code and paste it within that provision for SQL code. This provision for SQL code is made in Tableau Desktop. So that was an avenue I used to check my data and to run another sort of test to analyze the quality of the data. And when I used this second method, what I discovered was that it worked well for me. It was reflecting the accurate results, the accurate metrics, the accurate KPIs within Tableau Desktop when I made my visualizations. And so I decided to use the second metric because it was returning accurate results for me, results that I desired to see. Also, during the entirety of this project, what I did was to keep the client in the loop. Apart from the first meeting defining project success, throughout the entirety of that project, once a week I'd schedule a call with the client just to keep them in the loop of the different changes and the developments within the project. So when it came to summaries and in terms of recommendations, um, one of the recommendations I made for the client was that one, the different sales channels, the sales channel that wasn't doing well rather, should have a provision whereby it is expanded to other regions of the company where it is not present. That was the first thing. The second thing was to address the inefficient supply management or to rather improve the existing processes with regards to suppliers or vendors or manufacturers that ranked high in terms of providing products that needed to be returned, materials that needed to be returned, or those that needed to be scrapped. And so to identify these different vendors or manufacturers or suppliers, and to make sure that the client's company places an emphasis on making deals with those clients and vendors that are providing quality materials, quality products. The second thing was also to look at these vendors and these suppliers, and to place an emphasis on establishing a stronger relationship and a stronger business relationship with suppliers that were providing different materials and products on time, that were not keeping the company waiting, and to place less emphasis, or in some instances even cut off the relationship between suppliers and vendors that were not supplying on time, or that were supplying scrap products the most. Obviously, this was to be done after the cutting off of clients or suppliers or vendors that weren't providing quality materials was to be done after the client's company had made effort to talk to them and tell them that this was what they were receiving. If the responsibility on the suppliers and vendors were not taken up, and if they didn't change their quality of materials, then my recommendation was that after trying to talk to them and improve on the relationship and on the quality of material, if nothing was done, then to just cut off the business relationship between those vendors and suppliers. Another thing I did was to look at, in terms of recommendation, it was something I made a market basket analysis model using a bit of Python and Pandas. What this does and addresses is it helps to increase the wallet share of the client's company, increasing the wallet share of your customers by recommending products and grouping these products in ways that, based on the customer's historical purchasing patterns, increases the likelihood that they buy these products together. So that is what market basket analysis is aimed at: grouping products in such a way that you're grouping, let's say, customers' favorite products together, so that they can buy these products more, so that they have more desire or incentive to buy these products, and to spend more money basically within that particular sales channel that wasn't doing well, to try and boost the sales channel up. So with regards to the recommendations, talking to the clients and keeping them in the loop throughout the life cycle of this project was really helpful, because when it came to these recommendations, the client was able to have a better understanding of where I was coming from with regards to solutions and recommendations, because I had kept them in the loop throughout the life cycle of the project. The client also felt much more valued and much more catered to, because they were allowed to feel as though they were part of the process towards solving this particular challenge in their company and finding a solution to it. So this was a project that I worked on, and this is just my breakdown of that project and how things went from start to finish. Thank you.